Hello guys, so today I wanted to talk to you about anger, a very, very common emotion, and the reason why I decided to do that is because over the last couple of days I've experienced anger either towards me or towards someone else, and I think it's a very common feeling that we experience probably on a daily basis, and it's important to understand, where it comes from, how to deal with it, what to do about it. Because if you let your anger get out of hand meaning out of control, and you kind of act on it in a illogical and intuitive maybe way, but sort of letting the emotions take control over you and just cloud your judgment, the consequences could be quite bad. At the extreme case, people murder out of anger, right? And obviously, most of us, and hopefully none of us, will ever go to such great extremes. But it does get to a point where you start boiling over and you just feel like you want to really hurt someone or make someone suffer for the way they're making you feel. And thinking about it, right, it comes out of a feeling of injustice, right? So when we feel something hasn't been done right by us, deliberately, especially, right? So when someone makes a mistake and it's out of innocence, right? It's not out of spite, it's not to hurt us or basically because people don't care, we kind of accept it a little bit more. But when we feel people deliberately hurt us or do something on purpose, to affect us or our life in a negative way, we react really aggressively. So I think it kind of also comes from hurt or from feeling of feeling defenseless and wanting to retaliate and wanting to protect yourself and to stand your ground, because we feel often if someone hurts us and angers us and we do not react in a way that shows that person that we are strong, that then we suffer as a result. In their eyes, we kind of fall, right? Our sort of strength level, or so to speak, our stance kind of falls. We fall in their eyes and they look down on us. So we try to dominate our assertiveness and our position of strength, so to speak, by shouting, by being aggressive and rude, and we feel that makes us look really strong. Right, but have you looked at someone getting angry, actually, being aggressive and rude and screaming, and you thought that they are strong? I don't know about you guys, but me personally, when I see a person getting angry and shouting and glaring and or almost spitting or something, or really waving their hands in the air, and I'm not talking about the Italians, but for example the English, right? They only do that in extreme cases. Basically, do you look at that person and think they're strong? I don't, honestly. I think they are weak because they let the emotions control you. Because screaming, glaring, shouting, in most cases, is an unnecessary reaction. So when we try to control other people, in fact, we lose control of ourselves. And we have to remember that the strongest, the most difficult thing sometimes is not trying to control the external world and other people, but trying to get a hold of your emotions, right? And and it shows weakness, really. It shows that you have no control over yourself. You are unable to, think sort of clearly, and you let the emotions get the best of you. And really that does not look, that looks weaker rather than stronger. So it does the exact opposite of what you intended to do. Again, that doesn't really work, right? You rarely get what you want by screaming at someone, shouting at them, unless they depend on you or are in a weaker position, for example, children, right? Or, boss shouting at the employee, and the employee has no choice but to continue working for that boss, even though they might hate them after that. So really, what you're causing is either someone will ignore you, or they just, hate you if they can't leave and they depend on you, or they just walk away, right, and move on. So really, and then you're left there standing, with your anger. Anger is very destructive feeling. I don't know if you remember, after feeling extremely angry and aggressive, suddenly your body kind of feels really weak after that, right? You feel powerless. Your mood goes down, and really it leads to nothing good. So effectively you achieve nothing, right? So the best way, I mean, I was just looking up on Google as well, there are 3 types of anger. One of them is passive aggression. So that's really common in the UK actually, where sarcasm, or someone tuts or, shakes their head, or sort of goes, oh God, without really saying how they feel. Then there is the open aggression that I was just talking about, screaming, shouting, like expressing anger in a way. And there is the third one, assertive anger, right? So I talked about anger as a negative thing, but actually anger is just a feeling that something isn't right, that you feel injustice, you feel someone's not acting rightly towards you. And assertive anger means that you try to get what you need and want, stand for your rights, but in a way that you're not expressing that anger, but because you're feeling that anger inside, outside you are trying to solve the issue. So you are expressing things in a sort of logical manner, explaining them and trying to get what you need and what you think you deserve in a non-aggressive way. Okay, so that's really the art, is feeling the anger and then recognizing, should I do something about it, and can I do something about it? Is it worth it? Okay, trying to process that anger inside in a way that it doesn't hurt you from within, it doesn't distract you, and then taking some actions outside to, external actions from without your body, and to try to say something or do something that results in some positive consequences and may destroy the relationship, but not in a way that makes you look stupid and unable to control yourself. Okay. And you might say, okay, that sounds very good in theory, right? And I'm the same, right? So in theory it sounds amazing, but how can you get a hold of yourself in that moment when the anger is building up inside of you and almost starts to boil over? I don't know, there are different tricks you can try. I mean, whatever works for you, you have to find what works for you. For me, I'm thinking is just holding back a little bit, breathing, taking the deep breath, talking to myself, calming myself, and just saying, okay, Maria, so what's good is going to come out if you start shouting? Even if someone's shouting at you, is it going to look great if you shout back? What can you do? And it's possibly actually not thinking about the short term, that moment exact, but thinking about the long term consequences of how you react. And what do you want to be? What kind of long-term consequences you want to see? So maybe thinking about that. So taking a deep breath, trying to process, and then thinking about the long term rather than just that moment. Putting that person in their place by shouting back at them is not really going to get you anywhere most of the time. So I think, trying to calm down, think rationally, think long-term, think about your long-term benefits, not the short-term, okay? You kind of have to step out of that situation in a way. One of the techniques I read somewhere is kind of looking at, stepping out of your body in a way. Not sure how that would work for everyone, but you can try. Emotionally distancing yourself from the situation and sort of looking at it as an onlooker, like you are not you are someone else looking at the situation happening. And then, just sort of thinking about what's happening, what's going on, thinking about the negatives and the benefits for the person, which is you in question, right? And then maybe that way you'll be able to make a more rational rather than anger-driven decision, okay? And again, I don't mean anger is always a bad emotion, because anger indicates that something is wrong, okay? I think that's another thing. Some people try to suppress their anger too much. This is where we get passive aggression, or this is where we get neurotic people who are trying to suppress their emotions rather than express them and let them out. In a healthy way, right? So this is where you need to process them. Don't suppress them, process them, and act on them in a logical way that benefits you in the long term, okay? So that's probably the best way I can put it from a personal experience. I mean, there are lots of self-help books, I was reading one of them, I think, many years ago now, on the train, how to deal with your aggression and anxiety. And there was the reason I'm laughing, someone sitting on the train next to me and saw the cover, and they literally squished, like they squeezed themselves into the seat. They were sitting in a corner away from me. So I guess they thought, if I'm reading that, then I have no idea how to control myself, and I could just lash out meaning just express my anger in a really aggressive and strong manner. So that was quite funny. And I actually turned around and said, look, I'm not crazy, I'm just trying to learn some techniques and learn about this. And this person was like not even looking at me, looking away, and just like trying to stay away from me. I think they wanted to run away from me in that moment, and yeah, I felt sorry for them. I understand their panic, but yeah, it was poor person. Okay, so there you go. So that rage, that extreme emotional state feels uncomfortable. Okay, do not suppress it, work with it, process it, and think about the long-term benefits for you. That's the conclusion I would like to make for today. I hope that was helpful, because I kind of felt anger towards me. I felt anger back over the last couple of days in different situations. And I think it's really important that we work with our emotions. Do not ignore them. Do not let them get out of control, but work with them, okay? Keep working on them. And it will take many times of practice, right? So the first time you lash out, maybe next time you'll think about it and process it, and then try to do it better the next time, right? And improve every time in increments. Do not think you're going to get perfect from the start. And do not be angry with yourself if you do not get it perfect the first time. Just keep working at it, It's a skill. It's like anything that you need to learn. You keep practicing, you keep improving. Like your English language, for example, right? You do not expect it to improve immediately, right? Even if it's just one tense, for example, present perfect, have done, have finished, have been doing, also present perfect continuous, right? You learn it, then you keep working at it, you come back to the theory, then you keep practicing it again, right? It's a process, the same way here, right? Do not expect miracles at once, but if you start self-reflecting and working at it, you will improve and your life will improve. So yes, let's keep working at it together, all right? None of us are perfect, but we can always improve. Thank you for tuning in and listening today. Have a fantastic rest of the day.